Do you eat chittlins?
Let's talk about the controversy with chittlins first.
It's called booty meat.
So listen, it's not. It's actually
or dookie meat. That's what
That's what's called dookie meat.
It's
I'm like,
dookie meat.
Now let's be politically correct.
Right. Booty meat, something else.
All of a sudden, you changed my life with your love. Gave me a heart and say you trust me. And now we really out here making moves, shake the globe like yeah. You know it's just Neacara. Together forever, we do it for. We here to touch the world, we gon' light it up. So you better get ready, it's all of a sudden.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to All of a Sudden podcast. It's your boy Juice
and Neacara.
And listen, today is a very special day.
Corning?
Huh?
Corning. Was that corny?
You did
and
sound kind of like
Can
Disney
we do
Channel-ish.
over? Like, can we like? I don't really like these intros. Like, I never really.
What? You trying to figure out like a special way to say your name?
Yeah, like how do I be like in Neacara? Like that's why I was like shruggish last time because I really just didn't.
Hi, I'm Neacara, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Boy, if you don't get.
You want to try it again?
Yeah, let's try it again.
Okay. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of All of a Sudden podcast. It's your boy Juice
in Neacara, y'all. Because you start off like
high energy,
really high energy, and I'm like, I got to meet you somewhere.
So you're trying to like.
But it's been a long day at work though.
That is true. It has been. I'm
trying to meet you where you at, man. Tired.
Well, we'll just, you know what I'm saying. We'll just move on from that aspect,
okay.
And then we'll figure it out.
We'll get
halfway.
It.
Maybe
yeah.
season 2, you'll like get your like
the chipper.
And I'm Neacara. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm sure it won't be that corny, but
that hurts.
I got you.
I tried to help you out, but. But welcome to a very special episode. It's a Thanksgiving episode. You know what I'm saying? Today is my
already.
Favorite.
I'm full already just thinking about it.
I low-key almost said hospital. Today's my favorite hospital. It's my favorite holiday, people. Listen, and we just want to wish you guys a very happy Thanksgiving as you go your separate ways. We don't know exactly what you're doing, if you're eating with family, eating by yourself, or if you're just chilling.
Just eating.
Or just eating.
Just eating.
You know what I'm saying? Today is a special day to be thankful for the food, for the family, for the gifts, and just for another day of living. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
So like,
that.
it's always a, like I said, it's my favorite holiday because this is like the one chance where now like the family all gets together. Mm-hmm. We all play games. We all like eat and stuff. And so it's like, you know, it's always funny how black people have adopted it as like the food holiday, like the cook-off holiday in a way.
The family holiday.
Yeah, the family holiday. And so I just wanted to talk about a couple things. We just wanted to talk about a couple things, basically what Thanksgiving means to us, and just how you can spend your Thanksgiving. And then we're just going to get into some fun, you know, because Thanksgiving is known for food in the black household. So we're going to have a little fun with that towards the end. But before we get started, how are you doing, Neacara?
I'm doing pretty good. As I mentioned, it was a long day, long week, and we're only at Tuesday. Amen. But it was a longer day. I work at a school, so I work with kids that are like obtaining leadership skills. If that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. I was chasing some kids around today, and we had some different groups, some different girls groups today, and it was good. But it was just like kind of draining because you just pour so much. Yeah. So.
Ooh. But it's purpose, though.
Ooh,
we're going to talk about that a little bit next
pour
week.
Into your purpose.
Yeah.
Amen.
Ooh,
yes.
Is that a title for
Praise
next
God.
week? Is that a title for next
pour
week?
Into your purpose.
Okay, Deacon Neacara, talk to him. All right, so what is Thanksgiving for you in your eyes? Like, how do you usually like go about Thanksgiving? How do you think about Thanksgiving? What do you do to like celebrate it, I guess?
Well, Thanksgiving, of course, for me, I be whipping in the kitchen. Of course, for me, it's just food and family. Like, it's just the two F's, and they come together and they meet, and then boom, there's Thanksgiving. But really, I've learned for the last couple of years, I've just really just been thankful for family in general. You know, like for some reason, for my family, I don't know about yours, but I have a lot of deaths that occurred in November, which is Thanksgiving month. So during that time where we're always remembering the ones we lost, and we are we're just, you know, we're just thankful to be together, to be able to spend another holiday together. Whether that's eating, playing games, dancing, karaoke, singing, we just come together for that one day. Like, well, of course, throughout the summer, there's barbecues and cookouts in the summer, but I don't think like you get that intimacy really until Thanksgiving.
That's a good
You know,
word.
your food favorites are really Thanksgiving, and you know who's gonna make it, and you know who's gonna kill it, and you know who ain't. You know, so it's a time to really just come together and, you know, just be thankful for the things that you have, including family.
Low key, you hit it on the nail though. Like I think the biggest thing for everyone when coming or when thinking about this holiday is that idea of being thankful. And I feel like this year Thanksgiving is gonna hit harder than most. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we had 2020 with COVID, and like we didn't, you know, we couldn't be as close to our family members, or we did become close to like other family members. But just being thankful that we get another day to live life is like, that's another. It's like it's gonna hit a different, you know, like a different nerve for a lot of people, because it's like, man, we are here. Like we are here in this time where we need to be thankful for the things that we have. And like to just be able to be amongst family and have fun. Like my family, like this is like the one time where we all get together and it's like it gets real. You know what I'm saying? And not like real in a bad way, but it gets real like we all get to hang out, you know. And sometimes my sisters get to make the trip up. Sometimes they don't. This year they won't be making the trip up. But it's like it's a time for everybody to get together. And just, like you said, just be thankful, celebrate. My grandma likes to say 3F. Like, you said 2F or 3F. So we say getting full with family while eating food.
And having fun.
And having fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
4Fs.
4Fs. Big fours in the
Yeah.
building. And so, like, Risk is a big, like, tradition in my house. And it's crazy because, like, a lot of people don't know about the game of Risk. And, like, I don't know. I think black people would love it because basically it's a world domination game and it's all based on your dice hand. So we be like getting you know what I mean? And so like, you know, my family. And so I think it's interesting also because this year is going to be a new year because, you know, we're joining families. You know what I'm saying? Even next year is going to be crazy. Just like having those families there for Thanksgiving and like, you know, we talked plenty of times. Like my grandma is excited to share the kitchen with you, which is really weird because it's like it's not too many times that people are like where she's just like
invited.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like she's like, you know, she's 86 years. Well, 87, and she's always basically wants to do it herself, and like she's getting to that time where she can't do it all by herself, and like you came along at the perfect time, and she's just like, oh, she can cook. Like that's what she went. As soon as it didn't even matter about your characteristics. As soon as like so like me and Neacara, we getting together and we think about getting married, and she's like, she can cook. You better marry her. And it's like what? She didn't care about nothing else. She's like, as long as she can cook, that's your wife, because she always has this weird, you know. A way to a man's heart is through his stomach, because if he get full, he can't go nowhere and fool around. That's
right.
That's what she said.
How you gonna leave? You gonna roll out of here?
Yeah.
Right.
And so she always got these timely quotes. We're gonna have her on the episode one of these days. Hopefully
I look
sooner
forward
than
to
y'all
it.
think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just gonna be dope to like be surrounded around family again and have that, you know what I'm saying, and you know, big baby in the car, tag teaming in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of itis going around.
Right.
So, but like I always be curious. So how? Because like my grandma never let us really cook in the kitchen. Now she just started letting me help out a little bit. Like I'll make the cobbler or something and help with the mac and cheese or something like that. But like for an expert chef like yourself, you've been doing this for a long time. Like people don't know, you know what I'm saying? You know, this pretty be my wife, you know what I'm saying? If I put on a couple pounds, y'all can blame her, you feel me? Because she the one who be really cooking in the kitchen. But like, how does somebody prep for something like this? Like, what do you do to get ready for a Thanksgiving dinner for a big family?
First of all, you just make sure that you don't have to go to the store.
Look.
The day of. So you want to make sure you come up with a good itemized list for the grocery store. Everything that in America that you might need. So then when you're cooking that Wednesday, because look, some people start Tuesday, but I start that Wednesday, that night before.
You put the pressure on yourself.
Well, you know, some things have to slow cook. Like my turkey goes for hours. You know, you got to put it on low and slow. But anyways.
Okay, bars.
Right, low and slow. So anyways, I just make sure I have everything I need. As far as prepping, I just kind of go with the flow. I start with my meats first, or the meats that's going to take a little bit longer. Yeah. And then I also start with my dressing first.
She putting y'all on game
I start with my meats, and then I go to the dressing. Because the dressing takes a while too. And then my greens. Ooh. And then, it's just like I just kind of go in the order of what I'm going to make based off of the time that it's supposed to be cooked. Have you ever went to somebody's house on Thanksgiving and their food's not done till like 8 o'clock at night? Like, if your food's not done at 2 in the afternoon or 12 in the afternoon, you're not doing something right. I'm sorry. So no
funny.
Shade. No
That's
shade.
so funny because low key, like, I feel like a lot of, like, every year in my Thanksgiving, like, we don't know when we supposed to eat. You know what I'm saying? Because food don't never get done till like 4 o'clock. And it's like, we always go to Chicago for Thanksgiving. And so it's just like we can't even make breakfast because grandma's like throwing down, you know, making sure everything's smooth for later on. So we basically like starve ourselves till 3 o'clock because that's when we know the food coming.
You have 5 plates coming.
Yeah, and then like family don't show up till like 5, 6 o'clock. Well, my family, they don't really show up till like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, we already on plate number 3. we on halftime just waiting. And so like, it's just, it's funny that you say that because it's like, bro, noon. I ain't never ate Thanksgiving at noon. Like,
because for my family at least, my grandma always had by the time you wake up, the food's pretty much done. That's kind of where I got that from my grandma. But yeah, my food's pretty much done by noon, by like no later than 2 o'clock.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Every time I don't know. I just make sure all my food's pretty much prepped and done the night before.
Yeah.
Or slow cooking. By the time that time come around, it's already done.
Yeah.
And you eating for the whole day.
All right. So now we finna get into it because I know I'm not the only one who believes this. So you finna make chittlins this year. So my grandma is excited about her making chittlins this year. I hate chittlins. All right. One, I hate the smell, but apparently the smell don't even work. But I just hate the texture. I just hate everything about chittlins. Since you making them, because you technically was excited to make them, do you eat chittlins?
Let's talk about the controversy with chittlins first.
It's called booty meat.
So listen, it's actually
or dookie meat. That's what I call it.
That's what's called dookie meat.
It's dookie meat.
Now let's be politically correct.
Right. Booty meat, something else.
First, like I want to talk about how I didn't even eat pork before we got pretty much engaged.
That is true.
I was not eating pork, y'all.
I will say I didn't force her to eat pork though.
But I'm gonna put a but to it because
my grandma did.
Last year I did not eat pork. My mom brought some chitlins home, tore them up.
You did?
Because it's like something I grew up on. I was eating chitlins literally, and I don't know if they have these anymore for their kids, but high chairs. I haven't seen a kid in a high chair in some years, but anyways, I was eating chitlins in a high chair since I was able to eat. My mom was feeding me chitlins. So for me, it's like, it's just something on my palate that I just cannot get off every year. for Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's been a few years, but when I came home, last year was my first year home for Thanksgiving. Every other year, I've pretty much did Friendsgivings in college.
Those are big too, though.
Yeah, they are, but I just was like never
It ain't
like
the same.
I'm a clean some chitlins. No, like just never. So it's like a family thing that I've had installed in me.
Dookie meat.
Dookie meat
Dookie
is
meat.
installed in my heart. But you asked me how did I make them, or
Oh, well, really, I was saying why, but now.
then that's my why. But I make sure that they're really clean, like in the smell. Like I cook mine with potatoes, so then the smell goes away. My grandmother taught me that.
Yeah. Well, apparently they don't smell no more.
They don't. That's what grandma said. But like the ones with the packs don't. I don't know if the buckets do or not still. I know the ones with the packs, like they still have that outer or that inner lining in it that you need to peel, but it doesn't have that smell. Like they claim to be clean, but they're really not. But you just
I'm finna throw it.
But yeah, you just take out that inner lining, you soak them for a couple of hours, and that inner lining will come off easily. You peel them, and I make mine with celery and onions and potatoes to get rid of that smell.
So it's like a thing. Like it's like more than just chill. See, I had to eat chitlins one time, and that's because I was on punishment during Thanksgiving, and my dad was like, "Yo, the only way you gonna get off of punishment
is if you
eat these chitlins." And so like all my homies was outside, my brothers was outside, and we always have this thing called a turkey bowl where we basically go to Ogden Park, and like everybody in the neighborhood get together and we play football. And so it's basically a big game of football. And so like every year, like I was participating in it. You know what I'm saying? I finally got old enough to really like play with the big boys, because when I was younger, we just played at the park and watched everybody. But like I was an actual football player, and I'm like, yo, like y'all about to see what I can do. Like, and I was on punishment, bro, because I had did something stupid, but I don't want to talk about that. So my dad's like, well, if you want to get off punishment and play in this turkey bowl, you gotta eat a bowl of chitlins. So it's like, in order to play in the bowl, I had to eat a bowl of chitlins, right? So I'm looking at them. This is back when they used to stink, right? And so all the old heads at my house, like they love cheating. They scarfing them down, trifling, right? So when I tell y'all, I ate them chitlins, and we ended up losing the game, the Turkey Bowl game. So I took 2 L's that night. I took an L on eating chitlins, and then I took an L at the football game. So at the end of the day, it wasn't even worth it. So I trounced it in hot sauce, you know, because I'm like, yo, if I'm going to eat these things, I'm going to eat it with a bunch of hot sauce, right? So I'm eating it. Like, my breath literally stunk for hours. And I brushed my teeth 5 times. And I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I ain't even like the texture. I was just eating it. And my dad just laughed at me like, dang, you really wanted to play in this game? And I'm like, yeah, I did want to play in this game. And then we lost.
I don't know. So, like, I can't eat everybody's chitlins.
Yeah.
Like, I can only eat a select few.
Yeah.
And one of them is my mom's and my grandma's because of our recipe. Like, I don't know. Most people don't put, like, vegetables in their chitlins. Like, onions, celery, potatoes. Like, I've never heard of it either. Like, I don't know where my grandma got that. But it's like, I won't eat them without. It's just, I don't know. It does something to the flavor of them.
Yeah.
And, they just, I don't know. You might have to try mine, babe. Because you didn't like oxtails. And you tried my oxtails. You like them.
Well, it's not that I didn't like oxtails. It's just I never had oxtails. And, like, I'm kind of hesitant to try, like, newer things, like things like that, like chitlins. Like when somebody say, yo, you gotta try chitlins, like what? Basically what you're telling me is, bro, you gotta try dookie meat. Like, this junk is fire. Like, dookie meat is fire. And it's like,
I just don't think about it too much, like Drake said. Just don't think about it.
No, like I think this year I will explore a little bit, especially because y'all both tag teaming in the kitchen. So I mean, you ain't made a bad dish yet, so I don't know. I just want you to keep your streak. Like, I don't want to eat the chitlins and be like, yo, this trash. You fell off.
You definitely not gonna say that. Okay.
Oh man.
But like I said, they're good with like if you make them right or not. If you make them right, but if you make them my way, I can't eat everybody's chitlins because they just don't like they don't hit like how my grandma's hit or mine hit my mama's like.
Okay. Feeling myself.
Don't sleep on. No, I mean it's not me though. It's my grandma. Like this is her recipe.
Okay.
This is her recipe. So
I feel it.
shout out to you, Jean Marie, if you watching this.
Ooh. Shout out, Granny.
Shout out to my grandma, so you know who you are.
Right. So what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? You better not say chillin'.
Dressing.
Dressing.
Dressing is my favorite.
Yo, okay, so
For
I'm
sure.
glad that you said that. So tell the people, like a lot of people have this debate, like, what's the difference between stuffing and dressing? Like a lot of people be like arguing, like I be seeing it on social media, like dressing and stuffing, dressing and stuffing.
Stuffing is breadcrumbs. Dressing is cornbread.
That's literally the only difference.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't want my black card taken because I didn't know the difference.
Yeah,
Like,
and dressing has a lot more than stuffing. Like stuffing is just like breadcrumbs, and some people will put. I don't know. I never really made stuffing because
that's what I low key have never heard.
But
of
I
stuffing.
know that stuff. Like I've had somebody stuffing before, and I'm like, this ain't dressing. Like I know for a fact.
Yeah.
And don't be trying to call it dressing because I know this ain't dressing. This is stuffing. So.
Oh, so you be that person at the,
like when you go to people would make, what is that called? Stovetop. Like it's like a box of stuffing. It's like stovetop stuffing.
Yeah, I don't rock with anything pre-made. Like Thanksgiving, everything gotta be homemade.
I've had somebody. Well, if I can be honest, I do use it though. Because it's just breadcrumbs. So I mix my breadcrumbs with cornbread to make the dressing.
So you make stuffing dressing.
No, everybody uses breadcrumbs. You can use breadcrumbs. You can use a loaf of bread or whatever. It basically you mix that with the cornbread, and then it makes it the dressing.
See, that's the crazy thing. Like,
dressing.
yeah. See,
But
you wanna know my definition? What I thought dressing and stuffing was?
What?
I thought stuffing was like what white people call dressing, and dressing was like what black people call it.
Stuffing is a white person version of dressing, but it's just they don't use
two different things.
Two different things. Two completely different things.
Well, this Thanksgiving today we having dressing.
Period. That's it. But you can make it with like a lot of times. Why they call it stuffing is because you stuff it in a turkey. We use dressing in a turkey too, but we just have our cornbread. Sometimes
Turkey usually go in the dressing, not dressing on the turkey.
Well, some people put dressing around their turkey once the turkey's like pretty much
like
done.
around it,
Yeah.
like kind of like for like decorative reasons or something.
No, I guess pretty much because you put the turkey in the stuffing. So
Yeah.
I mean the dressing. Look, I'm over here getting confused. Thanks.
Look, my bad. So that's your favorite dish.
Yes, dressing is my favorite dish. I used to hate it with the cranberry sauce, and now I love it.
The older you get, the more you realize
the gems from it, cause
senior citizen juice gelatized and put in your dress. But low key, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like senior citizen gelatin on my dressing. I thought it was weird before, but like the older I got, the more I realized like I think that's fire. What's up, Royce?
He's trying to ask you something.
My son.
Go ahead, tell him, Royce, what you want.
Huh?
He'll take you in once we're done.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my son. He like to hang out with me on occasions. So like my favorite thing is low key. Like I really like I ain't trying to be basic, but I like mac and cheese.
Okay.
Like my granny mac and cheese be
mac and
smacking.
cheese is my second favorite for sure.
Mac and cheese, like she put like 60 different cheeses in the mac and cheese, and it just be hidden.
It hits.
Like
and
that mac and cheese
too.
with that turkey combination, different, boy, different. Or the mac and cheese with the ham combination, different, boy. Like I be.
See, that's the question. That's the next thing I was gonna ask. What is a dish that you can go without? What is something that?
That's funny because I was thinking that too. Like, what is the one dish that you could go without?
Race.
And I'm gonna. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's Chittlins. That's easy. What? There's literally nothing you can tell.
For mine is ham. Potato.
Whoa. So you're saying, oh yeah, this is getting juicy. So you telling me you would rather have a bucket of Chittlins than a bucket of ham?
Definitely, but I wouldn't eat that much now.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like if somebody asked you like, yo,
I never eat ham really. Like for Thanksgiving, I never eat ham. Really, hardly ever.
Yo, that's crazy to me, bro. Like you picking like ham is like it's like a holiday favorite. Like I've never met one person that'd be like, you know what, I can do without some ham. What? Ham is the backbone of Thanksgiving. Other than, I mean, obviously turkey, but like, let's be honest, turkey's just there for good looks. Everybody going for the ham. The ham is the first thing gone in my house. And you telling me?
Well, I guess more for you.
You right, and I'm gonna make sure you put some on your plate because they be taking a lot. So I'm like, yo, just give me some of that ham, and there's gonna be plenty of Chittlins for you. I'll tell you that right now. Ain't nobody touching them Chittlins other than you, and my grandma. Oh, and Ernest.
Well, my mama wants some.
That is true. Well, yeah, your side. I don't know what your side of the family be on, but on my side, only person who really eat them is Ernest. It's like
my family eats Chittlins.
It's all the light
people.
Probably
because it's more than likely because of my grandma's recipe. I'm just saying, like
light skinned people love. Chittlins.
My brother. He's tried somebody else's. Where he's tried my grandma's. Eat them. Try somebody else's. Disgusting. Like these are the worst things that he's ever taken.
I mean,
and I'm the same way. Like I can't eat everybody Chittlins.
Yeah, like that's how like when we go to Chicago, my family in Chicago love eating my grandma's Chittlins. I just can't get past the texture and just like.
You gotta cook them low and slow. Like they have to be tender.
It don't matter. Like when you scoop them and they like dangling. That's what I mean by texture. Like when I look at it, I'm just like.
Mine don't even dangle. It's how like soft they are.
They have to dangle because it's long. Like when you scoop it with Okay, well they be like this long, and if they hanging off the spoon,
mine would be like this long.
It don't matter. It's still nasty.
Not nasty.
Can y'all believe? Neacara just said that she gonna choose ham. If you would have said turkey, I'd have been cool. You would have said anything else. You said ham, like you literally can go without ham for Thanksgiving.
Literally can go without ham for Thanksgiving. I have gone without ham.
Well, yeah, it's okay. Like it's different when it's there and you choose not to eat it.
Okay, maybe it's because I just don't eat that much pork. Yeah. Like Chittlins is the only pork that's on my plate. And it's not even a lot. It's probably like a little saucer plate or a saucer bowl full. Like I just like to taste it a little bit and move on to the rest of my plate. Like I really don't be.
I'm gonna start calling you.
I'm a sides person. I want all the sides.
You a side chick?
Y'all. He over here lucky because we got 2 minutes left and I really can't.
She a side chick.
I really can't smoke you like how I want to, but it's cool. I'm gonna let that one pass.
You know what I like? Smoked ham. That junk smoked.
Boy, if you don't get your
No, but like, okay, here's my thing. Like, I feel like you don't know. First of all, ham is so good to me. I don't even consider it pork. That's how majestic it is. Ham was hand given to us by God and placed on our dinner table, and He said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. This is my gift."
I can see the light shining.
Especially the glazed ham. The glazed ham. Like, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Like this is you're reaching right now. It's really not that good.
All right, maybe it's because my grandma.
I guess my mom makes it.
Chittlins.
Ham.
Really? No, I'm saying Chittlins. Really.
Oh, we're back on Chittlins now.
Yeah, well, that's really crazy that you said that. But yeah. Wow. I mean, there you have it, people. Only on All of a Sudden podcast will Neacara sit here and blaspheme ham like that. Like she literally just eliminated it. The greatest.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I can go without it. Like I love all Thanksgiving food if I can be honest, but I'm not pressed for ham though. Like I'm just not.
I'm pressed for ham.
I'm pressed for all the sides though. There's no macaroni greens. Was it greens dressing and
We get it. You a side piece.
green beans, then it's a problem.
Side piece Neacara. That's what we calling her. She was about to hit me. Hey y'all, but listen, that was another episode of All of a Sudden Podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all, you know what I'm saying, hit that like button. Hit that bell right next to it so that you get push notifications every time we drop a new episode. Because guess what? Every Thursday at 6 p.m. we dropping an episode. We hope y'all enjoyed it. And make sure y'all have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family, all right? Enjoy your family on this Thanksgiving. Because, hey, I'm Juice.
And I'm Neacara.
And we'll be back next week, same time, same place, right here.
Showing our face.
Ooh, yeah.
You didn't hear that?
Showing our face.
Same time, same place, right here, showing our
face. Yeah, lead the bars to me. Not just playing.
All of a sudden, you changed my life with your love. Gave me a heart and said you trust me.